You're still here? Really? Here I am. It's been a long time, folks. It's been a very long time. And I'm filming this on the eve of Halloween Horror Nights 30. And it'll be my 7th year going. Really crazy. But I'd like to take this video to sort of talk about some years here that I went. Basically the years that I didn't cover on this channel, which was, I stopped covering in 2017, so 2018 and 2019, never covered at all. So I'd like to talk about those, and then just my favorite stuff that they did at the event, scare zones, houses, and stuff. And then talk about this year, and what led to this year, and my anticipation list for this year. So, hey, I gotta give you something, right? That goes out to some of you. I know. I gotta give you something. Okay, I gotta give you something. So I'll give it to you. Okay. All right. So 2018, right, was the first 80s year that they did. They didn't go full in onto the theme, but I thoroughly enjoyed the event. My favorite house that year by a landslide was Poltergeist. I feel like a lot of people's favorite house that year was Poltergeist. Poltergeist probably is the best, one of the best IPs they've ever done. Maybe not even maybe the best. In the fact that they took the house and they didn't just do room by room as the movie. And you go through the same stuff that you do in the movie. You go through iconic scenes, but they took it and they did it in a little spin. First of all, you start at the very end of the movie, and in a big chunk of the house, you actually go in the closet, inside the in-between, the beyond or whatever. Very, very well done. But 2018 was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then 2019 was very, very good. My favorite house that year was House of a Thousand Corpses, which was very surprising for me. But I just enjoyed that house way too much. That house was so fun. Every single time I walked through that house. I never had a bad run through at that house. Just amazing. I loved it so much. Scare zones were definitely better in 2018 than 2019. 2019's, I think, honestly, was probably the worst, or one of the worst years for scare zones. Just not particularly good. But yeah. And then my top stuff that they've ever done. I've been going ever since 2014, and I will start with my scare zones. I don't really have a big list of scare zones. I can't really tell you like my number 2, but I can tell you my favorite one they ever did. And that is The Purge from 2017. It is the definitive Purge scare zone. Purge works best in a scare zone. I'm super biased. Very super biased. But by far my favorite scare zone. Chaotic. Amazing mini shows, always something going on. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Had so much fun in that zone. I feel like my second favorite zone probably actually is Survive or Die from 2016. Again, I really liked the New York zones. They just feel chaotic. And I just loved the apocalyptic feel with the different clans fighting over territory and stuff. I love that. I thought it was great. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, the worst scare zone I've ever been through goes to a zone in 2019, which is Zombieland Double Tap. It sucked. I'm sorry, it sucked. It was bad. It was very bad. It was very boring. I couldn't tell the zombies, except from the zombie clown. I couldn't tell them apart from the normal daytime guests, literally, especially when it got really crowded in that zone. And I just feel like it was just boring. This didn't do anything. It was sort of just a place I'm just going to walk through with loud music, and it just didn't do anything to me. So let me move on to my houses. So my top 3 houses. My number 3 house is House of a Thousand Corpses, believe it or not, for 2019, which is pretty crazy. I don't know. It was just too fun of a house. I loved it. It was just too fun of a house. It just, there's a lot of great stuff. So making that list is hard. My top 2 are solid, and my number 3 kind of switches out. It feels like I could put Body Collectors from 25 in that number 3 spot. I could put Poltergeist in that number 3 spot, but I don't know. It just, House of a Thousand Corpses was good, but I don't know. It was really good. I don't know. I can't explain it. I went through the house so many times. It was just the cast and I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I understand that it wasn't some people's cup of tea, which I don't blame them. But for me, I just loved it. But solidly at my number 2 spot, Tomb of the Ancients. It was scary. It had Egypt stuff in it, which I like, of course. And just, it looked good. The costumes were on point. The scares were on point. Just everything. It was on point. It was locked, okay? I love that house. Love it to death. Amazing. But what could top that? Okay? And putting it at my number 1, a lot of people are going to say, well, that's cheating because it's an anniversary house and it's just repeats of stuff, so it's like multiple houses in one. I don't care. Okay? Jack Presents 25 Years of Monsters of Mayhem from 2015 is top of the list. Okay? We'll see if it gets top this year. Who knows? But the whole house, there was never a dead zone in that house. The energy continued through the whole house. The facade was absolutely beautiful. It was everything you wanted, okay? And it was my experience. It was my first experience seeing all the stuff that I had been seeing ever since I was a kid about Halloween Horror Nights come to life. All these original stuff like Nightingales and the Universal Classic Monsters were in there. Most of the icons were on there. Jack was, of course, in there. And it just they had rooms for the Forsaken with the tilted floorboards. They had a whole hallway, which got me every single time I went through it, which was dedicated to Gothic, where literally you could look down a balcony and see, the bottom of, it looked like you were, high up. And you look down, and it's, this giant cathedral that you're in, and it's just crazy. And then, of course, there's a gargoyle there that's going to scare the shit out of you. It was just great. It's just great. The whole house. The freaking ending, you walk out, you get 2 chainsaw scares, one from Eddie, one from Meets. Just freaking banging. It's my number 1. It still is. After all the years since 25, it still is my number 1. But yeah. Which brings us to this year. And before I talk about this year, I want to talk about what happened last year. Horror Nights survived when the 9/11 terrorist attacks happened. They decreased gore, and they took out some stuff, but the event still went on. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, we didn't have a Halloween Horror Nights in 2020. Which is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. It's insane to think about. And it was rough, but they did do what most people call HHN Light, which was 2 houses open in the daytime, Bride of Frankenstein, Tooth Fairy, which are coming back this year. And you were able to walk through them. I did go through those, and I loved Bride of Frankenstein. I can't wait to see it this year again. But it was nice. It was nice. But it was very peculiar, this whole speculation season, this whole season leading up to this event, which is happening tomorrow. It was very odd, because we knew the entire lineup, basically, except for one house, and there's a few things changed here and there, but for the majority, we knew the event. And it was just a weird feeling. There's a lot of stress, it felt like, in the community, of like, plexiglass is coming to come back, and the masks. That was a whole debacle. Now, I've heard good things about the vinyl, for this year, what they're doing this year, so I'm looking forward to that, and to see how that works out. But, you know, and we haven't had the debate and scare of, oh, no, they haven't sold the multi-night passes, the frequent fears aren't coming back, you can't, you know, and that was the whole thing. It just felt like it was very, very stressful. But that's all behind us now, because tomorrow's it. So, which leads us to, of course, what the hell am I excited to do tomorrow? And I will do my zones first. So, my last on my list here is Crypt TV. I've barely watched the YouTube stuff for Crypt TV. I just don't really have that much interest to watch it. I'm sure it's going to be a really cool scare zone. The costumes and stuff, the monsters look really cool from Crypt TV. I just don't care too much about it. But I'm sure that it's going to be a fun zone to walk through. Seek and Destroy is next. I'm really excited, and I feel like in other years this would be higher. This is the New York zone, but it's like a cyberpunk, dystopian, like dictatorship zone that's ruled over by this guy called the Controller. I'm excited for this one. I just want to see how this one's gonna turn out. You know, I'm just really excited for this one. I'm imagining it in my mind, but I don't know. Like, well, we'll see how it turns out. I'm really interested to see how they do this one. Next, number 3, is Gorewood. The Gorewood Forest. The Terror Queen is back, which I can't believe. It's crazy. Just an awesome icon from an awesome year that is a fan favorite, and they're bringing her back, and she gets her own zone, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff from Terry Cuentas in there, and it's just going to be awesome. My second is 30 Years, 30 Fears. It's the fact that they have the old sign that they used to use at Halloween Horror Nights. This big red neon sign. They brought that back in that zone. And it's like, that's a big driving factor. Just, it's going to look so cool. I'm excited to see what characters they put in this zone. If there's any icons, I don't know. I'm going to be really interested to see what characters they actually put in the zone. And then my number 1 is Lights, Camera, Action, Eddie's Revenge. Jack's brother gets a freaking scare zone, which is awesome in itself. But then you add on to the fact that it's Lights, Camera, Action, which is an old, very old scare zone that not a lot of people know about. And then you add that, you mash them up, okay? And it's like, okay, well, Eddie's directing movies that are based on past scare zones. I don't know, folks. I think this is a recipe for a good zone, in my opinion. I'm excited to walk through it. I'm excited to see what zones are represented. As far as from construction posts that I've seen, it looks to be some good zones that they picked. So I am very excited to see how that turns out. But last but not least, let's talk about the houses for Halloween Hornets 30. So, my number 10 spot here is Tooth Fairy. Brenda Tooth Fairy. I went through it last year a pretty decent amount of times. Wasn't my favorite. I did not hate the house. I don't think it sucks. I think it suffered from a lot of the restrictions on it. And although we are getting restrictions this year, I feel like it will be better this year. I just am not excited for it just because I went through it. And that's the saying. Like, the lower stuff, like Brides is, you'll see in a second, but again, it's just because I went through them already. Beetlejuice is actually my number 9, surprisingly. Bride of Frankenstein is actually above that. Which is insane, because I didn't get to see Beetlejuice. It opened last year for 2 days, and I didn't get to see it, though. I didn't get to see it. So it's completely new to me this year. I don't know why it's this low. Because I like the movie. I love the movie. I love the character. I think it's great. I'm going to be very interested to see if it's a good house. I'm not like, oh, this sucks, I'm not going to like it at all. But, I'm somewhat excited for it, for sure. But I'm just interested to see how it plays out. I hope it blows me away. But we'll see. And then, my next one here is Bride of Frankenstein. This was an awesome house last year. Okay. A lot of people said that this is, like, up there in the GOATs. And I'll see it this year, fully fledged. There's going to be more actors, going to be more effects, more scares used. But I could see it. This is a really good house. It is. It's just a really good house. It's an awesome original story of the Bride of Frankenstein trying, after, of course, the movie, the original Bride of Frankenstein, at the end of the movie, of course, the laboratory explodes, kills both Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. Or the monster, I guess. His name's not Frankenstein, but you know what I mean. And this house basically tells a story of what would happen after the credits. As in, the bride wants to save Frankenstein, and she dons the lab coat and freaking tries to do it. And she needs, like, parts and stuff, and while she's trying to save him, she's fighting off the brides of Dracula. It's just, I don't know, it's awesome. It's just an awesome house. So I'm excited to see the improvements they made this year, and I'm excited to go through it again. My next house here, which is insane that it's this low, but it is Case Files Unearthed Legendary Truth. Boris Schuster has been a character that has been in the lore and the mythos for a little while. And he has kind of been in the shadows. He's not really been given a lot. And of course, Legendary Truth as an organization has been at the event quite a bit, and that's always been a thing with games and stuff that has been run by them. And of course, Boris Schuster is the investigator who investigated the Bloody Mary stuff, Dr. Mary Agana. That was very good year, by the way. That was really crazy. But yeah, it's crazy that he finally gets a house. I think the reason why it's this low is I don't know what to expect from it. I don't know what it's gonna be like. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to be like, and I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. Like, I know that it's sort of kind of detective noir style house. I'm just interested to see how they pull that off. My next house. Look, okay. I'm excited for it, and you know it. And I'm talking to one of my viewers here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my next house here. That is 6, my number 6 house. I'm excited for the house. I loved the 2016 house. I think the 2016 house is a very underrated house. And the fact that it's going in a soundstage this year instead of a sprung tent adds a lot to the equation, which people are underestimating. See this all the time. Very, very low on anticipation lists. Because they're like, oh, it's coming back so soon. Like, oh, we just saw this in 2016. It's like, it's not going to be the same exact house. It's just not. It's not going to be, you're going to see more. It's going to take it. It's going to be different. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. Anytime a slasher comes to the event, it's just good stuff. Because I think slasher houses are just so fun to go through. My next house here is Welcome to Scary Horror in the Heartland. Of course, Cary, Ohio, being a location that they use for a ton of original content that they have produced over the years. And this is basically our anniversary house, which is why I'm excited for it, because I love anniversary houses. So I'm excited to see the stuff that they use. Some good stuff here. I know Leave It to Cleaver is going to be in there, which will be awesome to see. I think the Forsaken probably, will be in there. I think Forsaken was Cary. Or maybe not. I don't know. And I think HR Blood and Guts is probably going to be there. There's various things that they can use. There's a lot of stuff that's from Cary, Ohio, that has been used in the event. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. My next house is Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin. This is our traditional Halloween-y house with all the pumpkins and stuff. I'm very excited to go through this house. I'm wondering, with it being in a sprung tent, with it kind of having the pumpkins and it's kind of wicked growth, right? With the roots and stuff and being close quarters, I feel like we're going to have it's not going in the same place as this house, but I feel like we're going to have almost kind of like a scarecrow situation where stuff is going to, I feel like this house is going to be intense. I think this one in another house is going to be intense. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to look great. I'm just excited for it. I think it's going to be great. I know a lot of people, that's their number one. Me personally, no, but it is really high on my list. My number 3 is Hill House, which is pretty crazy. I love the show. The show is awesome. But I know Universal, they do creepy houses very well. Graveyard Games from 2019, Insidious from 2015, stuff like that. They do creepy houses, especially ghost houses, really well. So I think Hill House just lends itself into their cards of being something they can knock out of the park. And I hope they do. I'm really excited to see it. Number 2 is Puppet Theater Captive Audience. I think this is going to be, again, with Wicked Growth, this is going to be an intense house. I think it's going to be crazy. I love the concept that it's like old theater that was in an earthquake and got collapsed in itself, and now all these people are trapped inside, and they're coming at you with freaking ballet stuff and puppets and marionettes and stuff. I think it's going to be really creepy, like something like Dollhouse of the Damned from 2014, and it's just gonna be, I'm really excited to see it. I think it's gonna be really, really good. My number 1, and if you know me, you know what it is, okay? HHN icons captured. This house, it feels like was tailor-made for me. We get all the icons, basically all of them, in a house. Insane. Insane. I can't wait to see what we get with this. What are we going to get with it? I just... I can't imagine it. So, I'm hoping I'm not putting it up on too high a pedestal to where it gets knocked down and I am just left completely disappointed. But that is my number one pick, for sure, is HHN icons captured. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our video. Am I going to make another video? Probably not. It will be a long time from now, maybe, just like this. Who knows? I don't know. I just thought I would do this because it's the 30th anniversary, of course, and everything. It's a big thing. So I thought I would do this just to cap off everything. But yeah, I thank you if you watched this far. 26 minutes, crazy. But yeah, thank you for watching this far. And hey, happy Halloween Horror Nights 30, everybody. So that's it. That'll do it for me. Hope you have a good rest of your day, good rest of your afternoon, your morning, your evening, whatever it may be. And yeah, that'll do it.